Wife's affair years ago, still haunting. This occurred 15 years ago. We had been married for 9 years at that point and had 2 sons. I worked a lot in healthcare, often putting in 12-hour days. I was tired and maybe a little cranky at times. I also had some mental health issues to contend with. Still, we were a pretty stable family, or so I thought. She worked at a store, and right across the street was where her affair partner, AP, worked. Naturally, they interacted quite a bit because of this, and I assume that's how they met. One morning, I got home from a 12-hour night shift to find the house empty. She was at work, and the kids were at school. I thought, nice. Peace and quiet after that shift. I sat down at my computer and moved the mouse to wake it. When the screen lit up, I saw an unsent email. I almost closed it, but something caught my eye. It was her account, and the email was addressed to a friend, discussing her boyfriend and how hot he was. I remember thinking, she is cheating on me. At work, a colleague had told me that my wife had been involved with her husband, who worked at the same store as my wife. I had completely dismissed that claim, so finding the email confirmed what I had initially ignored. There were clues in the email, and within a day I had figured out who he was, where he worked, and even his political affiliation. I left the email open on the screen, anticipating her return around noon for her lunch break. I waited, completely stunned. I had always trusted her implicitly. My mind raced, and graphic thoughts of the situation played over and over in my head. I sat in another chair in the den, forcing myself to stay calm. When she came home, she greeted me with a kiss and then sat down at the computer. Upon seeing the email, she froze, asked, "Why is my—" and then jerked her head toward me. I smiled and nodded yes. The rest of the conversation is a blur. I was in a manic state due to my bipolar disorder, which can be triggered by significant stress. I do recall her saying, "I knew this would hurt you if you found out." Really? Thanks for the consideration. I don't remember her apologizing, though she might have. My emotional state at that moment was overwhelming. I do remember telling her that it was forgivable if we worked on things, and at that time she seemed open to that. However, her attitude changed. She became distant, and though we remained friendly, things felt strange. Eventually, she proposed an open marriage, wanting to keep seeing him and maintain that relationship. I agreed not, because I wanted a girlfriend for myself, which never happened, but because I thought about our 2 kids. If she cheated and I divorced her, she could move out with him, taking them away from me. Plus, I'd end up paying child support. To me, if she cheated and took my kids, why should I reward her with a monthly payment? So, we remained together for several more years, and once the kids were out of school, we split. I let her continue her affair, even though it was incredibly disrespectful. But I made sure to kiss my kids goodnight every night, and that was what mattered to me. Internally, though, it was destroying me. I couldn't stop ruminating. I resorted to spying on her. She had a habit of writing notes to him, and I would wait until she was asleep to read them in her purse, even though they always hurt to read. This is how I learned she was doing things with him that she had never mentioned to me. I knew it was wrong to invade her privacy, but I was desperate, and cheating is wrong too. Her affair continued, and I believe she noticed how much it affected me. I don't know when or if it ended. She just stopped mentioning her AP. After the affair, I was pretty broken for a while. We became more like roommates than a couple, and were never intimate again, sadly. I eventually stopped caring and spying, and I tried to stop thinking about her affair. I assumed she may have continued seeing him or others. Honestly, I wasn't giving her anything, so I wouldn't be surprised. I carry a lot of baggage because of this event. Discovering the affair was the worst day of my life, but I've grown since then. I've learned about limerence and cheaters' motivations. I don't justify her actions, but I understand the complexities involved. That pain, though it really hurts,